Drop the beat.
Welcome to another episode of Where in the Folk. I hope you motherfuckers have been fine this week. How have you guys been?
Good.
Awesome. How about you?
I've been good. I want to say rest in peace to my granny who passed away this week, Whitney Woods, 89 years young. She passed away on Tuesday, I believe it was. So raised 11 of her own.
On a lighter note, to
Yep.
make a lot of the event a little bit, it at least got Cecil looking like a Baptist preacher today. So,
That's true.
Yeah, you do look nice.
It never gets any easier losing people.
No, she was a great
No.
woman. She raised 11 kids and then raised a bunch of grandkids too. So,
Oh, wow. You know, I was lucky to survive 2 kids, so I can't even begin to imagine.
I'm trying to survive 0.
I'm doing good with dogs.
Struggling.
Okay, I'm going to channel y'all's grannies. Y'all should have babies. Hey, you know, that's totally tongue-in-cheek because I do not think anybody should have children unless that's what they want to do.
Nothing goes harder than saying that you're ending the bloodline.
Yep.
Yeah.
This shit dies with me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
To live is to suffer.
That's right. So yeah,
Anyway,
it's a somber start, but I had to say something about her.
yes,
oh yeah, absolutely.
So what are we getting into first?
Mike said that with the last name Woods, that's his mom's maiden name. It might be a cousin.
Maybe if you got any family from southeastern Kentucky, they were all the same bloodline. Like they came from some race of Indians or something. I don't know. Native Americans. We got a lot of Native American blood in us, apparently.
That's it. So from here on forward, you have to refer to him as Cousin Mike.
Yep.
Cecil thinks he might be a Melungeon.
Well, I mean, that makes the most sense to me because my dad's side of the family is from Hancock, Tennessee, and Melungeons are dark-haired, blue-eyed people, dark-skinned. I check all the boxes. But anyway, where do you guys want to get started in the news this week?
It's something.
Huh?
You pick.
You want to talk about this glass brain they found?
Do it.
So nearly 2,000 years ago, there was an eruption of Mount Vesuvius. I can never say it right.
Vesuvius.
It's what created the people in Pompeii. You know how they're all ash and like still like posing like in fear.
He did.
Yeah, it literally created hell on earth for those people. The effects of the blast could be felt worldwide, of course, but a place called Herculaneum was no different. It's about 7 miles away from Pompeii, and they found somebody. They found the person in the 60s, I think it was, but in 2018, they was doing a study on the man that revealed a shiny substance in his skull. And when they looked into it further, it was his brain that had turned to glass. So this glassification was caused by a flash heat of 932 degrees and then rapid cooling.
Only 932 degrees?
7 miles away from the blast, which is crazy.
Crazy that, because I mean, you have to think about how hot lightning gets to make glass.
Yeah.
I don't know what the number is, but I would imagine more than 900.
Yeah. So they found this piece of his brain, and they're studying this 2,000-year-old corpse. Now, I do have a couple questions about it. How do you think they'll use it? Like what they find about it? Because they're like, this will give us insight to the brains of humans more than 2,000 years ago.
Does it? I mean, if it's glass, does it still have DNA? I know it can probably be like carbon dated with that process, but I don't know if it actually contains DNA at that point.
I
no,
wonder
I don't think glass does.
No,
Hey, Landa.
They may be able to study it under a microscope or something. I think that they might try to use it as a way to save consciousness for future. Like
they're doing the altered carbon stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Just classify your brain and then come back 2,000 years later.
I don't know.
No. Fuck
it's
that.
Like,
I don't.
It's like those skits where they bring Walt Disney back and he's just a racist piece of shit.
I guess you are how you are when you go. You know?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. There was another one where they brought back Captain America from like the 40s or 50s, and he was the same way.
But yeah, that was really cool to me, just because the immense heat that it put off nearly 10 miles away was like almost 1,000 degrees. That explosion was intense.
Hey,
it
Stephen.
literally froze people in time, turned them to ash.
Oh yeah,
it's nuts.
To me, that whole event seems like, I mean, we really haven't had one of those in modern day. I mean, it almost seems nuclear, the way it just like flash froze everybody like that.
A lot of people think it was there is always the conspiracy theory that it was some kind of like alien tech that blew up. But I mean, there is also a volcano there. So,
or it was Mr. Tesla, aka Saint Germain, practicing.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that a little bit more too, because I brought a story that's absolutely nuts. I don't know if you want to transition to that, but I can hit it. So, something that you guys may not have heard about, unless, like, it's a very scarce, like even what I could find about it is scarce. You can find just a few articles, and from what I can tell, it originated from a source in India, but now it's making its way into American sources. So there's a volcano in Antarctica named Mount Erebus that is not only erupting, but it is raining out gold every day, enough to where it would be worth $6,000 every single day in gold.
It's raining gold.
And it's not just gold dust, but a lot of people are speculating that this is monoatomic gold, also known as ormus. And if you don't know about ormus, you should go to allthegoldYouCanEat.com. All of the gold, or allthegoldYouCanEat.com. Ormus, or monoatomic gold, has been around since the beginning of time. Pretty much the process by which to make it, though, was kind of lost. So basically, this dude figures out in the current day that there's still like this underground of alchemists that make monoatomic gold and take it. The Egyptians believed that monoatomic gold was the cure to death, which also ties into alchemists such as not just Saint Germain, but I think even Isaac Newton fooled around with monoatomic gold. But I'll get back to the article. So Mount Erebus, an active and one of the most southern volcanoes in Antarctica, has been in the news for spewing gold dust, $6,000 worth every day, and it's being emitted into the sky. It can be found hundreds and hundreds of miles away from there, which, like Antarctica, there's only a few people that can go. But according to NASA, this is what I found funny. So according to NASA, it regularly emits plumes of gas and steam, and sometimes expels big rock bombs in Strombolian eruptions.
Strombolian sounds delicious.
It overlooks McMurdo Research Station on Ross Island and has a lava lake in the summit crater. And this volcano has been active since 1972. But because it's in a remote location, NASA monitors this alongside the Smithsonian Institute with satellites. So you have a volcano raining gold, probably monoatomic gold, that's being monitored by the Smithsonian Institute and NASA. Now, even if you haven't seen the documentary on Ormus or monoatomic gold, do you remember all the stories about UFOs flying into active volcanoes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So one of the big theories is that monoatomic gold was given to us because in the Anunnaki, I don't know what you want to call it, the Anunnaki theory, the Anunnaki were here on Earth for gold, to mine gold. That was their number one operation to take back to Nibiru, which is interesting. Volcanoes spewing gold just doesn't seem normal to me.
I mean, they always knew that liquid gold, lava's gold.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like,
right, because what comes out of a volcano is generally liquid.
Yeah. There was a story in the Book of Enoch about a mountain of gold. I'm sure Stephen would know a lot more about that than me, but I just listed things that were clicking in my head whenever I was reading about this. The main three things were UFOs have been seen flying into active volcanoes, probably because of some kind of energy. Monoatomic gold is basically a superconductor. If this volcano is spewing gold, then they're probably seeing other stuff, which is why the Smithsonian's there. And then the Book of Enoch and Anunnaki references, it all revolves around gold. Like all theories of sort of the beginning of man, whether you believe in the biblical sense and steer toward the Book of Enoch, even if you don't believe in any of it and you just know Egyptian history and gold was the focal point of almost every civilization. And it's if you think about it, it's kind of crazy. It's the metaphor, or I guess the comparison that they always talk about. It's like, if I have a rock, it has no inherent value until you give it value.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Like, somebody along the lines determined that gold was going to be the currency of the world for a long time.
And especially if there was some sort of advanced civilization that showed us how it can be used. Because otherwise, why didn't, one side of the planet, why didn't Cortez show up to the Aztecs, and the Aztecs had been hoarding up limestone because they thought it looked cool?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, it could have been agate or anything.
Exactly. They're way prettier rocks for sure. I just think
I prefer silver over gold personally. I mean,
I look fresh in silver.
Yes, me too.
But yeah, that's the story about the Golden Mountain volcano in Antarctica that's happening. I sent Cecil this earlier, but if you haven't seen it, I'm going to try to get this lady on. There's a lady who's been tracking this mass. It's below Africa, toward Antarctica, toward one of the most desolate islands in the world. There has been a huge mass that's been spotted on radar lately. It's been spotted off and on since February. And I think around the 15th, I was telling the crew, I'm like, so the person that saw this on radar said that in order to make this on radar, there would have to be like 83-foot waves in the middle of nowhere in the ocean. And it's massive, like 2 miles wide. So it's either Godzilla or somebody's running crazy experiments there. But they said it was a glitch on the 15th, 16th.
I remember the glitch.
It showed up again yesterday. So my sort of running theory is that where that island close to Antarctica is so desolate, they're probably doing some sort of experiments there, like either underwater or otherwise rather.
I mean, it could be a glitch. It could be a glitch in the Matrix.
Oh yeah, no. Look, Mike, I'm ready for Godzilla and the Kraken. Like I need a Leviathan level something, so we can all feel alive again.
I want those things off Pacific Rim. I've never watched it, but I've gone through the room as Mo has watched it a few times. I'd rather have that than Godzilla.
I thought those were robots.
I don't know. I didn't stop long enough to watch
it.
They
make big robots to fight the monsters that are coming out of the ocean.
Okay.
Yes, they do. Okay, well, I'm going to jump in and kind of go back to the brain thing. Not specifically that, but something else brain related. So Colorado passed this law this week. They've been fighting about data privacy and how it pertains to our phones and our computers and our vehicles. The new battleground that's our brain.
Don't get me started on data privacy.
Oh, look, Governor Paulus out there signed a bill into law this week that protects brain waves as sensitive information under the Colorado Privacy Act.
Well, they should before they broke out these new Wi-Fi boxes.
Right. Yeah. But it comes on that, just recently, Neuralink, which is Elon Musk, was released and it's a brain implant that has the ability to translate thoughts into actions. And supposedly it's to develop treatments for mental illness and to improve people's focuses.
Of course it is.
It always is.
Okay. Neurotechnology last year alone was valued at $13.47 billion. And it's projected to grow past $15.5 billion this year.
We gave that away last week.
Right?
Whatever, they should just pump some of that money into the development.
Right. And like I said, they're trying to use it as, it can be used to treat like ALS and Parkinson's, but said, they're still concerned that it can control actions, that it could put your thoughts out there for anybody to hear and you not have any control over it. Well, it leaves a lot of gray area. I know, because y'all know I get migraines really bad. So I actually got a letter, it's been a couple years ago now, from the Migraine Institute out of Texas offering me their new technology. And they literally put these probes inside your brain and go down your backbone and put a battery pack in your ass. Sweet. First off, batteries leak, and I could just imagine I'd get the bad battery. But two, I don't want something in my butt sending electrical current up to my brain when it thinks I'm getting a headache.
Yes.
I turn them down. I like to think I'm forward thinking, but there's just a line I can't cross.
You kind of sparked a thought. So it's been probably a month or two ago, but I read that I forget what the technology was called, but very similar to what you're talking about. You remember how long it took them to map out CRISPR, like DNA sequences?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they're working on doing the same thing with brain waves. Mm-hmm. So that, it's kind of like science fiction where you think something and it shows up on a TV, like what you're thinking.
Yeah, I don't want that.
They're actually working on that, which is I'm sure it's the same technology. I mean, that's one step away from your thoughts controlling something. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. The reason I'm alive today is because people can't read my damn mind.
Yep.
Somebody would have shot my ass dead if you could read my thoughts. That's probably also kept me out of a 4x6 cell more than once.
Well, I mean, everybody has like at least three faces too. You know what I'm saying? Like you got your professional face that you're around other people. You got your one that you let close people see, and then you got the one that is just you to yourself.
Yeah.
My self face does not need to be put out for everybody.
Right. Well,
I
you
swear
know,
though, sometimes it does feel like, because sometimes I see ads that are more than just targeted ads. Like it's like a very specific thought
oh
that I've had.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, or I'm sitting there fixing to Google something. I haven't said a word out loud, but I hit the first character and it pops up in my damn search engine. And I'm like, okay, there's no way they thought I was going to look up thermonuclear physics. You know, I mean, it was just way.
Now there is a theory. I mean,
Yes, ma'am,
you know,
Linda.
like the dead internet theory, where
Uh-huh.
basically a quantum computer is sitting behind all of this at this point.
Mm-hmm.
A quantum computer might be fuzzy enough to guess something like that.
You think?
A biological quantum computer probably could.
Because quantum is, I mean, that's like you get into infinite universe and everything at that point. It is calculated every single infinite possibility and whittled it down like Doctor Strange. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still do not like it.
No, no, because there's no beating something like that.
No. And like I said, my brain, the way it works is just, you know, it does not need to be guessing what's going on in this head.
Mm-mm.
Well, Mike, I guess, so he said that he doesn't talk about being diabetic on Facebook, but every other ad is. Now, I will say this. I'm talking very specifically about things that you would never say out loud. Yeah. And the other stuff, you know, if you have a car newer than like 2014,
yeah,
your car, we've talked about this before, your car, there's no specific laws on the metadata that your car can sell, or the car company that's collecting that data. So if you have like OnStar or even the capability or Bluetooth to where you can talk to your car's also listening to you and selling your data.
Yeah.
I can't help but think that if that was hooked up to my brain, that it would melt down just because of like AR-15 rounds, adult diapers, Mount Vesuvius, reptilians. What is gold?
Right.
Where is this? Like, just bouncing one thing.
Yeah, look, you guys, y'all really, if something happens to me tomorrow, remote into my computer and delete my browser history.
That's
because fair. Most people don't need to see that. I don't worry about y'all seeing it because y'all are as fucked up as I am. You know? But yeah, this.
Well, on a lighter topic, let's talk about everybody's favorite subject. The reason that we're all here tonight.
What?
We have $10,000. For $10,000, you can now own a robotic flame-throwing dog.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty sick, really. As long as I can fully control it.
So these dogs look like the ones from Black Mirror, exactly like the dogs from Black Mirror. They're the robotic dogs with no head. And we've seen the ones with AR-15s mounted to them, but this one goes a step further. We have a flamethrower that can shoot up to 30 feet. And I believe it's got, I didn't put this in here, but I think they said that it can go continuously for like maybe up to an hour or something.
Wow.
Just fill the tank up.
Okay, so I watched this show last night and I'm trying to find the name of it because I don't want to get it wrong. But it was about these, some people are born with abilities and society hates them because they think they're freaks and stuff. So these police officers come up with these robotic dogs that will stop one of these people with abilities, and they won't attack them as long as they put their hands up. But then there's this drug that normal people use that comes from the brainstem of these special people that gets them high. Well, it kills the special people. So the dog's after this guy and he stops and throws his hands up. The dog's on top of him and a needle pops out and he sticks him full of that stuff and it kills him immediately.
Nice.
So yeah, the whole controlling them, I don't trust it.
Yeah. So I didn't get into the specs. You can You can either fuel it by gas or napalm.
Oh
Napalm.
my God.
It features a 1-hour battery, so I think that's what I was thinking of. It can throw flames 30 feet. It's Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connected, or you can control it through your smartphone. Includes a LiDAR sensor for mapping and obstacle avoidance, laser sighting, and first-person view navigation.
Neat.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question. Where can I pick up napalm?
There's a recipe.
I mean, I have a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook somewhere. I'm sure I can find it.
Well, yeah,
But
it's in there for sure.
I thought maybe you could run down to the Ace Hardware and pick up a bottle.
No,
you gotta get the original edition for it.
If they start using these for military applications, they absolutely have napalm they can put in them.
Yeah.
Okay, Code 8 is the name of the show. It's a 2-part movie.
I've actually heard that.
Yeah. And I just, I haven't been watching TV pretty much at all recently. Yeah. And I was working last night. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put something on. And I didn't want to get into a series because then I'll sit there all night, which is why I was still awake in the middle of the night last night, Mr. Tully.
Oh, I got you. They put one of the applications for this flamethrowing dog as snow and ice removal.
Sweet.
Oh, dear God.
And just so you guys know,
sure, get rid of.
I call bullshit.
And just so everybody knows, flamethrowers are not regulated in 48 U.S. states. So you don't have to have any kind of license. The only 2 states where there are restrictions is Maryland and California.
I mean, you can openly buy one down here at the store. Here, I know somebody that's got one. But they're pretty neat. They're pretty cheap too. It's an attachment for one of the pew-pews.
What's up, Rainbow?
What's up, Tubby Rainbow?
I can't show you. I can't show your comment, Mike, or somebody's going to show up at your door, dude.
But I've got one that Horror Chris from Paranormally Correct would love because it's got crew time and it's a cryptid story.
It is.
So I didn't even rewrite this. I'm just going to go straight off the article. A Pontiac County man in Oklahoma told investigators he unalived his friend during a fishing trip because he thought he was summoning Bigfoot to kill him. He was convinced. He was convicted Wednesday. So Larry Sanders, 55, is guilty of taking Jimmy Knighton out July of 2022. I don't know how this escaped my realm, but the conviction hinges on the concept of a malice forethought, apparently. According to closing arguments, both prosecutor and defense attorneys agreed that Sanders unlawfully took Knighton out, but a first-degree murder conviction in Oklahoma. Why am I even trying to censor it? I said murder and kill. But
I don't know why you tried the first time.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me. But he got the conviction and requires proof of malice forethought. Like, basically, he intended on doing it. So apparently, these guys were out fishing, and they see a 12-foot tall Bigfoot, right? And they got into some kind of argument, and Knighton started doing the calls like, yeah, and this guy thought that he was calling this Bigfoot to come and kill him. So he killed him first.
Where the hell's Steven at when we need him to do sound effects for us?
Yeah, I don't know.
So they see Bigfoot, and the one guy starts calling for it, and the other guy shoots him.
Yeah. Well, Knighton began to howl into a drainage pipe, apparently, like when they seen it. And that's when he pointed out the fish and was telling him to get the fish. And Sanders was like, when Knighton didn't get the fish, Knighton kept telling him to get them. Like it would turn into that. No, you get it. And so it escalated from there, and Bigfoot was being called Sis Knighton out apparently, and this Sanders didn't like it very much.
That's bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
That is bizarre.
This world, like even in Mammoth Cave, Kentucky, people shoot at Bigfoot all the time. Like, it happens constantly.
Well,
why are you shooting at a national park? I've seen Bigfoot.
So this today's TikTok that I posted is actually about the Bigfoot battle that happened in North Carolina in the 90s.
Yeah.
In that story, they can take like 7.62 rounds, like it's like you're flicking rocks at them. So it took big old guns. Like they had to get something more than just like your standard issue
500 mag.
Yeah, they're shooting big old guns at them, and they still, at the end of the day, Bigfoot ended up killing a bunch of civilians, one special operator, and I think they killed 7 Bigfoot after a few days.
That's intense,
and that's the military. So I'm sure they're shooting like this big. I don't know the exact size, but like 120 millimeter bullets or something at them.
Neato.
Wow.
Or shells. I don't know. It'd have to be something big.
Yeah.
Neato. Neat.
Okay.
Neat.
Y'all are going to love this one.
All right.
There is a teacher in Baltimore or in the Baltimore area. And he's facing criminal charges after police say he used AI to duplicate the voice of the school principal, leading the community to believe that he was racist or had said racist and anti-Semitic things about teachers and students.
Now that's dangerous. That
Yes.
we're getting into.
Yes.
How did they find out?
Well, they just said that it's still, he hasn't gone to court yet, so they're not giving a ton of information, but said they had conclusive evidence that the recording was not authentic and that it had been determined that it was generated through the use of AI technology. He was arrested on yesterday, charged with stalking, theft, disruption of school operations, and retaliation against a witness after a months-long investigation.
This is where this sucks that we're at this point.
Yes.
You can, like the internet, you never really could believe everything you read anyway. Now you can't believe things you hear or see.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. What? And you remember when what was it called? Totally, the face thing came out a long time ago. Well, I told you it was going to happen. I was like, eventually,
Like facial recognition.
No, it was a face change.
Oh,
The filters.
Yeah.
Huh?
The filters?
No, you remember when? What's it
It was
called?
is it Jib Jab?
Deep
Oh,
fakes.
okay.
Deep fakes.
When they first started rolling out, even before, I was like, we're going to get to a point where you can't believe anything, and they're setting this up. So when you do have proof, they can be like, "Oh, that's a deep fake." That's exactly what it is at this point.
Well,
so
but
if you hear audio of P. Diddy and some dude in a bedroom doing something, ungodly, because they're not married.
Steve,
and that was
fake too.
Yeah, and that was the thing too, because the principal was checking the guy out because money had come up missing, and this guy also fired another employee and did not have the authority to do so. So he was.
Imagine in a different scenario where you don't know that this person doesn't like you, and you have nothing on them. And they do something like this to where there's no way that you're going to find out.
Well, and here's the thing too, like I said, because he released this damn audio clip on social media. So the repercussions, he was temporarily removed from his job. He started getting hate-filled messages. People were calling the school, so this, he was threatened. So like I said, what if you'd had a crazy parent like my husband? That, oh, fuck this son of a bitch, I'm fixing to go take care of it, So you have people out there that would do stuff, if the right parent, had gotten hold to it.
Well, you don't even really need real blackmail anymore.
No.
And as few podcasts, we've done quite a few podcasts. Somebody could take all the data from our podcast and replicate our voices exactly and make us say whatever they want us to say. So if you hear me say something crazy, it's fake.
Okay. All right. Well, Mid-Journey, because y'all know I play with AI all over the place, but Mid-Journey is usually my go-to for images and stuff. And when they first started, letting people from the public use the platform and everything, you got X amount of free images, and then you had an option whether you wanted to pay for, the platform. Well, when the previous president got arrested last year, somebody went on their platform and did all of these AI images of him being drug out by the police because he was, fighting them and stuff. Every bit of it was fake. And they stopped letting you get the free trial because somebody had used it just for that. They weren't going to pay for the platform. So they went on there, used their 25 free images, and released this all over social media. So they quit allowing people to do a trial run on it.
I think it had an adverse effect of what they wanted it to have, though, because when I seen that, I was like, all right, I'm going to vote for this guy now. He's an OG son.
I don't know, dude. I think it's all just a big. I heard a great analogy about this week that I wanted to share. People keep asking, like, how do we fix the situation with like taxes and, our POS government? And the guy was like, that's like if you have terminal stage 4 cancer and your body's ridden with tumors and you go to the surgeon and ask what kind of surgery they can do to help.
Yeah.
And that really hit home with me. Like we're beyond the point, I think, at this point.
Yeah. Total revision of the government is probably needed at this point. But we're in a situation where we can't do it.
I was going to say, though, people getting away from believing crap, there is no good side and bad side anymore. They're all against us. Let's just face that. And the quicker we all come together and say, we're done, then we'll fix it.
And people are delusional. The right arm isn't going to cut the left arm off.
Hell
and
no.
neither is the left arm. Like they both have to exist to sustain each other.
Yes.
And they're both very good at keeping outside parties outside.
Think locally to change globally.
Yeah, that's really the best thing you can do is to try to control what you can locally. Because as far as the doom and gloom headlines that come out every day, like there's no fixing that.
I have a great headline.
Go for it.
3 cows lead Kansas police on a hoof chase.
What?
That's the kind of headline I like to say. Yes. In Shawnee, Kansas, said the trio booked it and the police got after them and they could not get close enough to catch them. They tried animal calls, and everything, and they just trotted on their merry way.
I've got to tell a story on my wife. It has nothing to do with this, but I want to get to it before.
It's okay.
Yesterday, we were headed to the funeral home or whatever, and there's a highway that I live on, and so there was a black SUV directly in front of me, like the car in front of me, and there's a hill where they have urgent cares and shit. There's a black Cadillac SUV came off that hill and slammed into the side of this other black SUV in front of me. So this person got knocked out apparently and just reared off to the left and drove up a mountain and almost hit a restaurant. All right. So debris was flying by my truck, just flying everywhere. And my wife goes, what happened? Didn't see a thing. Just looking out the corner window the whole time and didn't see anything. And so I pulled into the restaurant parking lot to go look at the people that drove up the mountain and almost hit the building, and they were fine. And she was like, why are you pulling over here to go check on people? And she said, there's a car over there. And I was like, yeah, that was a car that just got hit. She didn't even see it go up the mountain or anything. It was nuts. And I still don't know because it made a pretty loud sound and there was debris flying past our vehicle. We was directly behind
Was she
it.
asleep?
No. Sitting there staring out the window. I was like, you're very attentive. I'm glad I was driving them.
Yeah.
Everybody was fine though. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, it happens. I'm going to defend her. It happens, damn it.
Sure, you almost get killed. No, like it was nuts. It was crazy, but luckily everybody was fine. I still don't know how in the hell that happened. Like that Cadillac must have been getting them pills filled or something up there.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, I was riding up the highway one day, and luckily I was far enough back. The car ahead of me, their damn hood flew off and over behind them, and I just stopped and watched it as it landed. Yeah.
You think we got time for one more?
No, we probably got enough time to plug everything we need to, though.
Okay. So I just want to say, go check out Paranormally Correct with Sarah, and join their live discussions on Sunday and Monday nights at 11 p.m., which is later than I can stay up most of the time. But if you are able to stay up, it's awesome. It's kind of like a coast to coast show where they get people on there to tell scary stories and like glitch and matrix stories and cryptid stories and things like that. And you might even get Chris to come out with some crew time.
Yeah. Yep.
Go ahead, Dolly.
If you're listening in and you don't already follow us wherever you're watching this, please follow us.
Yeah.
We always forget to plug ourselves.
Go follow Wearing the Folk on Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, and also BitChute. BitChute's behind this week. I got a little behind, so I'll be posting 2 tomorrow. If you tune in live, it's the 2 you've already seen.
We do have a whole catalog on BitChute though, of our older stuff, and if you're on YouTube, our older stuff's on there too.
Yeah. And if you're on YouTube, go ahead and comment, because I'm working on 3 long forms right now. Tell me if you want to hear a long form cryptid, a long form ancient history, or a long form political. And
oh Lord,
we'll come out with it. We'll do whichever one you all pick.
What about long-term sex scandals?
That's next time.
There we go. I was telling somebody, it's like I just hate them all. Like equal opportunist. Like I can't even think in terms of like people try to talk to me about specific politics, and I'm just I can't even think that way anymore. Like it's just all, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'll listen to it. I'll listen to you guys talk if you you know what I mean? Like I just can't, I don't know anything about it really, other than how we're affected.
Yeah. And of course, Weird Realities Network. Go follow it. YouTube. Where all does Weird Realities Network show up now?
We do our live on Facebook, YouTube, and X.
Mike, we got a notification that StreamYard's having problems on Facebook today. So if we're not on there at 8, go to YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can catch us every Friday night directly after this show at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Mm-hmm. So we'll be on there tonight talking about reptilians.
Weird Awakenings. We always talk about something crazy every Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
You can say that we have awakenings that are weird.
It's definitely more spiritual and
woo,
esoteric.
Yeah.
Esoteric.
Yeah.
And Weird Realities Network, if you don't know by now, has several awesome shows. Yeah. Watching Weird is my favorite movie review podcast. Let's see what else
there's tons
Lines, books, and campfire tales. They do Wild Women of Weird once a month or twice a month. Yeah. So yeah, there's something for everybody.
Yep. So if you're at work and you're like, man, I wish I had something to listen to.
Oh, and I will be doing the witch's grave this weekend. So maybe next weekend we can do a folk and weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You
we're
want to-
doing one. We're doing one tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
We'll
So
let's
we'll wait
say-
till next month.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do it early next month.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that works. That works.
We got a Folk and Weird tomorrow night on the Weird Realities Network. Everywhere you can watch it, and that's weird with a Y. Folk and Weird is where we go out and look at stuff.
Yeah, we go to historic places. We go to graveyards. We're not ghost hunters, but if we catch something cool, we basically watch back footage and react in real time to, like, with you guys, to the footage.
Yeah. Yep.
So go like and subscribe everything we've mentioned.
That's right.
Um,
Tell
or
your
don't.
friends.
Or don't. We don't care.
I don't care. I'm gonna do
But
it.
as long as you join us and are having fun and are listening, we can care less.
Yep,
That's
yep,
right.
yep.
Tomorrow's at 7 Central, Mike.
7 Central, 8. I'm in Eastern time, so I'm gonna say 8 Eastern.
But thanks,
All right.
everybody,
See you
for
guys
watching.
in just a few.
And thank you for watching us because we're watching.
Let me get this going.